Okay. Well, welcome everyone. And I'm just going to do my quick little intro spiel, and then I will turn it over to the reason you're here, which is the Burlington Boot Camp. So just a reminder that we will send out the videos of all the presentations and also any materials that the presenters provide. We'll send those out too. And we'll be sending the email link for your sketches, and those forms can be completed at the end of the institute and no later than Friday, May 19th, they need to be turned in. And so Brandi and Louie are here from Burlington, and they're gonna kind of take it over, and they'll let you know what you can expect from their session. So you guys are on.
All right. Thank you, Dawn. Happy Friday, everyone. One more session after this. Yeah. Then we get to relax. So my name is Louie Paris. I'm the customer manager for Burlington English here in Michigan. And I got Brandi Cardwell on here, and she's what is the actual official title, Brandi? It's like the queen, regional manager, Northeast. She travels everywhere from Maine down to Kentucky and over to Illinois. So she's our road warrior.
Michigan's the best.
Of course.
Because I live here, but it is.
We always say the best because we're the only state that we can say we live here. Every time I go to the meetings, it's great. Basically, I always try gauging these trainings because they're kind of fluid, because I have so many different people on here. People have used Burlington before, people are brand new. So yes, I have an agenda, but the best laid plans of mice and men often go astray. So I'm going to start this out. I want to talk about some of the more recent updates just to get you guys familiar. And then I really want to delve into our newest tile, the English for Specific Careers, and talk about how to really utilize it and take advantage of it, particularly since this conference really seems to be focusing on the workforce and IETs and things like that. So I'm just going to share my screen real quick here. And basically, all right, and minimize. Okay. So a couple updates. I know some of you are familiar with it, some of you aren't, but one of the newest things we added was the communication tool, which is in the top right corner, right next to your name. So oftentimes, like back in the old days when you were telling your students, you just did the ICL, you just did a whole lesson, and then you tell your students, okay, now I want you to go into the courses tile, low beginner, module 6, lesson 3, and I want you to do that in student lessons. And their eyes bulge out at you, and they're like, what? They hardly speak English, and you're giving them all these directions on how to navigate through 6 different clicks that they have to do. You don't have to do that anymore. You can actually assign them work through Burlington English. And it's simple. So if you go into any activity, let's say we just did a low beginning, we did the in-class lesson, we did health, module 5, and we did prescription medication, lesson 7. So we just went through, and for about an hour and a half, we taught this lesson. Okay, we finished up with our review game. Everyone had fun. They're angry at each other because team A beat team B and so on. So what we can do now, we can go back to the very first activity in the in-class lesson. Use your switcher, which is in the top right corner, those 3 dots underneath the home button. And we're going to go to the student lesson. Now, remember, the program is intuitive, so it brings us directly to the student lesson that corresponds to the in-class lesson that we just did. So here we are in module 5, lesson 7, in the student lesson. What I can do now is I can go up to the top and I can copy that URL. I'm going to highlight it and copy it. And now I can go to my communication tool, top right corner. Okay. And I can click new message. So I don't have more than one class. If I had more than one class in here, it would list my class A, class B, And I would click on the class, and then in the right, it would list all the students in the class. I can select everyone. I can just select certain students I want this lesson sent to. I can say MACAE homework, my notes here. And then here is my link button, my hyperlink. So I can click on it and I can paste that hyperlink in there. Save it. Now, the nice thing about this link is you can copy and paste any URL from the internet in here. If you have a YouTube video you want your students to watch, if you have a article from the local newspaper that was online that you want them to see, anything, you can copy and paste that URL in this link. Okay. And then you can type in notes, please do for Monday and so on, and send it. Okay. Now, the important thing to realize is that this is not linked to their email. Everybody that's ever input a student into Burlington English knows we do not use emails. This is only linked to the Burlington English account. So basically what happens is when your student logs into Burlington English, they're going to look and they're going to see a 1 or a 2 or however many messages you sent them in this communication tool. So you kind of got to get them trained to say, okay, when you log on, make sure, look next to your name, make sure I didn't send you any links up there. So they would click on it. It would bring them this one here, MACAE homework. They click on it and there's a hyperlink and it brings them directly to the lesson and activity I want them to complete. So they're not jumping around all over the place. It'll save you a lot of time. It'll save your student a lot of time. And it keeps them on task. You can do this for vocab practice, anything you want. Okay. So that is one of the things that we've added. Another thing we've added for the teachers, and this is based on your requests, and we thank you very much. If you go into the in-class lesson, now you will see we have a refresh button right here on the right-hand side for all your in-class lessons. So now, if you say last year you completed education module 2 lesson 1 with your last year students, rather than having to go back in and resetting all the activities, you can now click the refresh button and it refreshes, sets everything back to basically ground zero for you. Okay. I know there's been a request to have this button for the student lessons. Brandi, I know you had we talked about it.
The developers are debating that. They're very worried there could be some errors made if we reset the students' progress and activities. So it might happen, but might be a process to do it.
But again,
your opinions.
Yes, it's based on your feedback. So again, let me know, let Brandi know if this is something that's absolutely detrimental, and we'll keep pressuring for it. But at least for the in-class lessons for you teachers, it's again a time saver because now you can reset the whole lesson without having to go into each activity and resetting it. Okay. So those were a couple of the big updates I wanted to go over. Was there any other update you can think of, Brandi, that we wanted to touch on right away? I think those are the two main ones.
Okay. Yeah, I think we got them covered.
All right. If anything else comes
actually, Louie, I don't know if you wanted to point out the student orientation course.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, I did. Okay. A lot of you probably have seen this or even used this, but we do have a new student orientation tab at the top. And basically what we did is we took all those videos from the tutorials and we actually created an orientation tab for you. What we did add though are the activities afterwards. So in the student lessons, okay, here's our 2 videos to start out with. Accessing Burlington from laptop, desktop, or Chromebook, and accessing it from the tablet or smartphone. Many of you know the reason there are 2 videos is because students can access Burlington from their cell phone through the web browser, but if they go through the web browser, it does not activate the microphone. So they have to download the app, okay? And these 2 videos will start them out. And another thing to realize and let your students see at the bottom, they can change these orientation videos, just these videos, to their native tongue. Okay. And these are all the languages that it can be changed to. Okay. So yes, we have had it added. Urdu and Hmong was added recently. So if we want to listen to Spanish, so now it'll play these videos in their
Acceder a
tongue.
los cursos de inglés de Burlington English
And then when
desde
they're
una
done, there are now just comprehension questions afterwards, practice questions for them to do. Okay. And the other one, like I said, I always say spend day one going through these videos with your these are important because it's going to save you a lot of time and energy through phone calls and emails. Because the students, if they watch these videos or if you watch them with them in class, number one, they're going to know how to do it. Number two, if they don't remember how to do it, at least they'll know where to go back and find the answers to their questions. So, like I said, hopefully it saves you some emails and phone calls. Okay.
I have another update, Louie.
Yep.
We have student navigation guides, paper copies, and we've just added Vietnamese, Dari, Pashto, and Russian, along with several other languages. So before they ever log in, they may need a guide in their language, and it shows them by device how to log in and then how to navigate the student lessons.
Yep.
And those are brand new.
And I know I've emailed several of you, like the Arabic one, the Spanish one, we've got Haitian Creole, Chinese.
The Albanian one.
Yeah, we haven't got the Albanian one yet. Hey, it's because of Michigan we even have Albanian. Again, thank you all for your input on that. That took a couple years of pressuring, but we finally got it.
Yeah, got it.
I will request it, Loretta. If you're going to use it, I will request that for you.
No, it is done. It's done.
Oh, but we could get a paper copy if you'd like.
Oh, the paper. Okay.
Would you like that?
Yep.
For you. Okay, I'll request it.
And a lot of you, when I've gone into your classrooms and stuff, I have pulled this out because I think it's really a good tool for you, especially for your students on day one. But if you go into any level of core, okay, this is one of my favorite things, and you go into course and lesson planner, okay, general information, teaching with Burlington Core, there's a guide down here, the student guide for BE users, okay? And I'll click on it and open it. It's 4 pages, but just this first page, I really like it. I really think it's helpful for you to just print off several copies of this first page because it has the website for students that they can access. And then it has the information on making sure they download the app. But also it has their username and password that you can write it in. And most of your students have a notebook or something like this. This is a great, just one piece of paper to have on the first page of their notebook, 3-hole punch that has their username, their password, the website, and how to download. So this is just, I don't know, one of my favorite things. Something simple, easy, and I love simple and easy. So any questions up to this point on the updates before we delve into the English for specific careers?
Maybe I missed it, but if we want the paper copies, do we have to request that or can we find those somewhere in Burlington?
Actually, if you want to send me an email, and I'm going to put my stuff in the chat right now, email me and I can get those to you.
Okay.
Through just email. They're really easy.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, Louie. Hi, how are you? It's Liz.
Good, Liz. How you doing?
Good. Good to see you. I know you don't see
too.
me, but
That's all right.
So where you were just at you're saying that we could print that out and give it to the students?
Yes.
Okay,
Everything in Burlington pretty much can be printed out, except for like some of the in-class lessons and things like that, but all of the worksheets and stuff. So
I'm sorry, if you could just show me one more time, where that was?
yep. And if you go into anything in core, any level here,
Okay,
go to course and lesson planner,
yep.
general course information.
Mm-hmm,
Okay. Right there, teaching with Burlington core.
okay.
And it's right there in the bottom right. Open
Now,
it.
we can put their names in it, no?
Yes. Yeah. Well, you would have to handwrite it. You can't, it's not live that you can type it in.
Okay, that's
Just
cool.
handwrite their username and password. That's
Okay.
what I do. Again, it's just a easy tool for them right on the
Well,
front page of the notebook.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Okay. I usually just make a whole like sheet and then give it to them, but this is,
Yeah.
I like this.
We have it already done for you.
Yeah.
There you
Good.
go.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay. I'm going back to the landing page here. And a lot of you have noticed, some of you may have used it before, but our newest tile, which is just over a year old or so, is the English for specific careers. I really, really, really love this tile. Simply because it's career exploration and soft skills in the courses tile. It's going to give you the, career exploration. So you're going to delve into the 16 government regulated career clusters. They're going to get a virtual career counselor. They explore things that are hard for us to explain, like ethics and stuff like that in the workplace. Okay. English for specific careers is much more specific. So my comparison is like career exploration and soft skills. We're looking at the forest. When we get into English for specific careers, we're going to look at the tree. Okay. So if we touch it, we'll go into English for specific careers here. And it's going to be in 3 parts: the word lists, the soft skills, and the courses. Now, the word lists are just that. It's pure vocabulary. And there's 43 different careers in the word list for specific careers. Again, broken up into categories. So if we look at something like health sciences, okay, there's 7 different careers already registered in there. So if we take a look at something like registered nurses, there's the vocabulary practice. And again, Burlington English, we want to use as much vocabulary as possible. We want them to get us speaking and recording as much as possible. We want to have all that recording in there so we can activate that pronunciation course if they need it. On the left-hand side here, you can see it's broken up. We can select all categories or just things like discussing health issues, carrying out patient assessment, and so on. If I want to see how many words in each category, that's that little orange button in the top or in the bottom right corner. So here, I selected all categories. So for all these categories for registered nurses, if I click on that orange button, there are 255 vocabulary words that are specific for registered nursing. Okay. If I go back and I break it up, now I'm just going to talk about discussing health issues. I'll click on that. Now it broke down to just 74 vocabulary words. Okay. We can even make it smaller. Go to, say we want to just discuss respiratory problems. So just vocabulary that deals specifically with respiratory problems, 15 words. So that's how they break it down. So as you can see, in all the vocabulary, you have the word, you have the translation into their native tongue. If I click on a word, okay, I hear the word.
Asthma.
I can record it. Asthma. Hey, gave me a 4. I never get a 4. Okay. There's the translation. They can hear themselves. Asthma. Okay. And of course, they can hear the word in context.
Don't smoke near your son. You'll make his asthma worse.
And they can record it. Okay. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but you can also print off these vocabulary words. That's underneath the home top right corner, the home button, the switcher, then the search, and then the print. And if you print it, so much nicer than my own handwriting. See how it prints up nicely? Again, a nice thing that they could have in their notebook or whatever, 3-hole punches. They can read it a lot better than my chicken scratch, so on. Okay. So all that is in the word list. And again, how would you use this? Maybe, if you had a student that was a registered nurse in Venezuela or something, and so they're familiar with the career, but they just don't know the vocabulary. This is, again, so specific, and it'll get them acclimated to the vocabulary for their career choice. Okay. Then we've got the soft skills. Okay. So the soft skills is a little different. You can see, what is there? 23 different careers in this one. So, or 18, sorry, 18. Let me pick one here. Let's do servers. Okay. So now we have a lot more tiles in our toolbox here. We've got the course and lesson planner for the teachers, and we've got the worksheets for the teachers. Let me show you what's in the course and lesson planner. Okay. And it's just a general introduction, some ideas for face-to-face activities. Okay. As you can see, there's no in-class lesson in these components. So my interaction with some of the teachers is like, well, I can't teach this. That is not true. Okay. It is absolutely still meant for teachers to be able to teach these courses or give you ideas for face-to-face teaching with it. Okay. So the ideas are in here for face-to-face. Where you're actually going to use, let's see, how am I going to put this? Where you'll actually find almost like the lesson plans. They're not particularly lesson plans, but a type of lesson plan would be in worksheets. Okay. Again, this is a component that you see your students don't. Okay. And everyone's like, okay, yeah, here's the module work list, activities 1, 2, and 3. Well, where am I finding stuff that I can use to teach? Right here, the teacher's notes. Okay. So in every one of these careers, okay, in soft skills, it's going to be broken up into 6 parts. Going for an interview, getting the job, training. So from 1 to 6, this is the same in every one of these careers. All right. But the outcomes are awesome and pertinent. Okay. And what I mean by that is if I go into the module worksheets for teachers' notes, here, activity 1, 2, and 3. Those are the outcomes and ideas for activities for your student. So if I were to go into activity 1 and going for an interview, it's going to deal specifically with your introduction to potential employers. Activity 2 is going to be about writing a cover letter and responding to a job ad. And then activity 3 is always going to be about filling out that job application. Okay. And I'll click on one. Let's see, filling out the job just to show you. So there's the objective, filling out the job application, what materials and what activities you can do with your student. So in a place like, I'll just use them, like Farmington. Farmington has job clusters in their classroom. So they can teach this in a classroom setting where other programs that might be more individualized, maybe this is a breakout with a one-on-one with your student, or, in a lab setting or something like that. Okay. Getting the job. Let's go into the teacher's notes here. Now you've got activity 1, 2, and 3. Activity 1 is always going to be about understanding the purpose of the resume and its components. So you can see, unlike career exploration and soft skills, we are really getting into resume writing and cover letters and interview skills. 2, drafting that resume. There's what's going to help us get the job. And part 3 is participating in the job interview. Okay. When we go into the training and safety now, so part 1 and 2 is the getting a job component, of the wheel, getting a job, keeping a job, advancing in the job. So part 1 and 2 is about getting the job. Part 3, we're going to talk about we have the job. So the activity notes here, the outcomes are going to deal with safety hazards and procedures. Part 2, we're going to talk about discussing accidents. And part 3, we're going to talk about how to write an incident report. Okay. And again, these are the same in all these careers. On the job, go into the worksheets, boom, right there. We're going to talk about requesting and ordering supplies. Part 2 is offering and describe services, our services. And then 3, again, now we're dealing more with the soft skills, interact with the coworkers, how to ask and offer help, how to discuss and divide tasks, and how to disagree politely. Okay. So things we do in the job market, in the job place, sorry. Handling complaints. We never do that. Come on. No. Handling complaints. So here our outcomes are going to be dealing with complaints about a product or service. We're going to talk about students will be able to discuss complaints about his or her work performance and respond appropriately. And then part 3 is going to be writing a response to a letter of complaint, maybe suggesting solutions to complaints and general problem solving. Okay. And then part 6, this is more about kind of like advancing or moving up in the job in a different, like getting a job at a different place, but advancing. So how to look for a job and what to do when meeting with a recruiter would be for activity 1. 2 is going to be dealing with virtual job fairs and using the tools that they learned from the soft skills course to apply to this new position. And then part 3 is responding to evaluation feedback. So all the notes on how to teach this course are in here. You can teach this, okay, just because there's not specific in-class lessons, okay? But again, they are in the worksheets section, okay? And then, of course, the student lessons, this is where they're doing it on their own. There's our 6 components here, and they're all the same. So going for the interview, again, it's always the same. Let's begin, let's practice, let's communicate, and so on. So they do this all on their own for the student lessons. Okay. How are we feeling? Anyone overwhelmed yet? Am I going too fast? I know we've got a lot to cover in such a short amount of time, so I apologize. All right. Let's go into the courses. Okay. So here we are again. We're back into many, 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 many different courses. But again, it tends to get more focused. So here in business and management, you've got administrative assistant, but you've got all these different things you can do in administrative assistant. So applying for a job for admin assistant, handling phone calls, all the way down to setting up meetings. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 9 different lessons that are specific for dealing with admin assistant. Okay. And boom, touch on it. There's our course and lesson planner again. General introduction, ideas for face-to-face, scope and sequence. So it's the same information in the course and lesson planner. But again, we go into the worksheets. Now we've got the course worksheets for teachers' notes in speaking and writing. Okay. There we are. Teachers' notes, ideas for getting the students to speak in this particular course of, what were we, an administrative assistant, let's see, preparing documents. Okay. So teachers' notes for speaking. So it's kind of like, again, the lesson plan for this particular activity. So some ideas on getting them talking about documents and so on. And then writing teacher's notes. Here's a couple different ideas for writing. So we are really, really, really focusing on one thing as opposed to being broad as far as, admin assistants can do this, this, this. Here we are, admin assistants dealing specifically with preparing documents. Okay. And again, so many courses to choose from. A lot of you, some of this is going to look familiar to you that have used Burlington English for a long time, because a lot of these courses were in the old download. Okay, so they were transferred over from the download and but broken up. For those of you that used the old download, remember we used to have the doctor's English, and it was just a huge course. Well, we broke it up. So if we go into health sciences, now instead of one doctor dealing with cardiology, dermatology, eye, ears, nose, and throat, it's broken up and again, more specific for that particular career. Neurologists, I don't know. I haven't had too many neurologists specifically come and learn English, but I'm sure they're out there. Pediatricians, yeah, and so on. One other course that I'm going to talk about in courses for specific careers that is hidden, okay? That's down here at the bottom. Travel and relocation. This is so much fun. So in travel and relocation, we have topics like alternative travel at a hotel, at an airport, planning a vacation, so on. And then shopping, housing. These are like pertinent everyday situations that the student will be able to use. So if we go into restaurants, here's our topics. Come on. Internet. Okay. I'm going to go into the student lesson planner just to show you the things that are in here. So making reservations, ordering food, paying, compliments at a Greek taverna. Yes, that extremely handsome bald waiter with the goatee was fantastic. Okay. Complaints at an old English restaurant, going to the pub. Okay. Here we go, Anne. You and I will go to the pub in Livonia. Okay. Of course, you always have the vocabulary and a lot of role playing. Okay. So these are fun. But what I really, really like about these is, again, they're pertinent everyday things that the students will be able to use. Okay. So if they're planning a vacation, if they're things that you don't think about that you could teach, what do you do at an airport? Checking in, getting around, all these lessons that are specific for that activity. Reading a board. There's our listening activity.
Departures. Wednesday, April 2nd.
Okay. Vocabulary words for checking in at an airport. They're all there. Fragile sticker. I got one sticker on my bag last time that my bag got searched. The heck was that about? Okay. And then role playing again. So, very new, a new course, but I don't think it's being used as much as it could be. I think people have gotten so used to that career exploration and soft skills that they're teaching it for the workforce component. But I just wanted to make sure everyone understood that, again, we can be much more focused in the student's particular career interest. Questions, concerns. Anyone want to play with this? We can do a No? Everyone's all excited, right?
I wanted to say something, Louie. I was visiting, I think it was Hamtramck, and they used one of the banking courses. It was very relevant. And in fact, I know there's a lesson if you want to go into finance, the finance cluster. There's a lot. Like you could reach out to Louie and I, hey, do you have anything that, that touches on any current events? in the central banks and the economy. He's writing on a board. Do you see him?
Yeah, I had to move these pictures around.
And then if you click on student lessons, there's the national debt lesson. So that's quite relevant, but it's interesting that the lessons can really touch on a lot of current events. And that comes up often is what do we have on current events?
Oh yeah. There's so much in here. I haven't even explored every single one yet. So, okay. And then of course, if we go back to the main part, you can always use the search button at the top and it pulls up everything that we have. So rather than going through, like I said, because there's so much in here, you can just scroll down and find, okay, well, there's registered nurse word lists, word lists, word lists. So these are all the word lists broken up and then soft skills. So the search feature is there for you to help you find stuff quickly. Okay. And then, so that was really it for the English for specific careers. I didn't know, I kind of was hoping, let's see, there's 21 of us, if we could do a breakout room and just explore it real quick as an activity, because I'm sure everyone is so sick of just listening to everyone talk on Zoom. Let's see, we'll do this and we'll put up into like groups of 3 real quick. And if we could just break out and just take one, explore one particular career we'll just do like 5 minutes, just so you can see everything available for you. And how do I do, where's my breakout room?
That is a Dawn question. And if Dawn, can we even do breakout groups?
No.
Oh goodness. I
If
think
you
we
make-
can probably,
If you make
we could
Louie
try
or
to
me
figure it out.
co-host, we could do it.
let me see here. Looks like, it looks like I can do breakout rooms. How many did you want to do?
Let's do 5. Let's do 5. As soon as I
Okay.
said breakout rooms, a couple people jumped off.
I know, right? And then do you want to just assign them automatically so everybody just gets kind of pushed into one?
Sure.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and create them.
We'll do a quick 5 minutes. Just
All
again,
right.
explore, go into English for specific careers and kind of take a peek and look around.
Okay, so those rooms are open. So people should be able to hop in them. Yep, it looks like people have gone into them. So if you guys want to jump in on any of them, you can.
Yeah, I mean, I was able to check it out a little bit. Just
Okay.
looked through the different options.
Ryan, did you see anything in particular that was exciting for you?
Well, like I told them in the breakout room, I wasn't able to get Zoom to work on my computer, so I'm on my phone.
Oh yeah.
And we don't have Burlington, so I didn't have access.
Oh, okay. Jeez. All right. Dawn, you could probably end the breakout rooms. I think it's been about 5 minutes.
They should be closing in the next 30 seconds. So,
Okay.
yep.
Colorado, what did you touch on in there? I caught you. Yeah. Getting your coffee. Isn't that always the worst? That's the worst thing about these Zooms. You're like, is somebody going to catch me on a bathroom break? You're like, oh. Oh, you're muted, Colorado.
Yeah.
So as you see, I'm at the beach here at the Florida. So
I wish I was. I'm too pretty not to be someplace warm.
It's warm outside. I'm sitting in the yard.
you are at the right place, Louie. So I told them that at the beginning I survey my students, and if they claim that they have a background, like professional background, a degree that they want to learn, I recommend that this site, the modules. I cannot follow up with everyone because they and if they are advanced, if their level is at that point where they can navigate it by themselves, I don't have to worry. I had a student that would come even when it wasn't her time. Can I have the laptop? Go in the other room and then learn and record and practice. And she was so driven.
Yeah.
So it really benefits the ones that know how to do it. So I'll teach them how to do it, but it's impossible to follow up with all of them.
I totally understand that. And you bring up a good point too. I mean, it's the unique thing about this career is it's not tiered like our other careers. There's no beginning, no intermediate, no advanced.
Yeah, it's not.
So it would be difficult for like somebody who doesn't know any English at all. Challenging. Okay, I won't say impossible. We'll say challenging.
I tried with one student from Colombia. I think he was a web designer. And the problem was that I couldn't understand what was that. And he said, you know what? He couldn't navigate the language. So he said, let's start with the core, the registering language, because he said, I need to talk to customers, the ones that I do the designs for them. That's the common language sometimes, the language.
And that's when maybe that type of student is just kind of focusing on the word list and really listening to the sentences, the context sentences and things like that, and getting acclimated to that before jumping into the courses and soft
are
skills.
Professionals. They know what to say in a job interview. They know how to do their resumes. They have already, but they need to refine the language.
Absolutely. One thing I don't know if anyone played around with it or looked at it that I really like in those are the role plays. There's so many role plays in those courses.
I print out when we have printouts for the role play. I always print out of them. They can have it in their folders and then practice at the beginning of the class or whenever they have time. They have something to just do.
Yep. Rufus, you raised your hand, and I was just about to call on you because you use such a workforce component in your program.
Yeah, but I had to get some coffee. So.
Now, speaking about those role plays, Brandi and I saw that some of the ones in the hotel spa attendant, which seems to be a very specific career, could be applicable, across the board for just like good employability knowledge, like taking appointments or booking appointments by phone call, discussions about dress code. And we're like, outside of the career, that's still really applicable across the board. So I think those are very well done too.
Great.
Some of the one of the partners in the breakout room, he is teaching adult education, and maybe they don't use Burlington, but those skills, the soft skills, can be taught because it's not just the language part; it's the real skill is embedded in that. They can use that too.
Absolutely. And I even in the old course, the career exploration and soft skills, you know, one of the components is teaching ethics. I mean, how do you teach ethics in the United States versus ethics from another country? You know, they may or may not be the same, and how do we teach it as old English teachers?
For many of people that haven't been in another country or haven't, they have the only reality they know is the American one. It seems so like common sense, those ethics, but no, it is a struggle for the other students. I say, oh, too many rules, too nice, everything is too nice here. And they need to learn those, the work ethics. And
Louie, are you teaching like the workforce component down in Washington very much?
I don't teach, Louie. I don't teach, but
right. But I mean, are your teachers using it? Do you know?
Our teachers are. We actually have an online component to our program where the students can opt in for special topics. And I don't know that they're teaching the workforce, but they're teaching very specific lessons. And yet then, yes, they would pull it from that. So starting from the beginning of, I need to figure out how to interview. So then it would be a lesson or a seminar session on interviewing, or setting up appointments. I don't know in the workforce what specifically, but it's broken down into those individual lessons. That would be one session for our group.
Okay.
Louie, I was looking at one of the students' worksheets in our hotel spa attendants. Now I want to miss that.
Well, what was on you and Ruford's mind?
I know it's Friday.
Like,
we time to relax.
Vacation, spa.
But it has the worksheets are editable, and it has the student creating an email, and then it gives them some guidance. Like these are some possible sentences you could write or rephrase. But I thought those skills, those email skills, are really valuable. So I actually hadn't seen this one.
Well, it's just
sorry, where is that? The email skills?
All right.
Here, I'll share my screen with you.
Yeah, you share yours.
Thank you.
It's actually in there's the hotel spa attendants, but in the worksheet section, I opened up the writing a worksheet, and that's this one. So it's writing a follow-up letter. So it gives you the steps, and then you have the email that you can compose. Either handwrite it or type it up.
Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's good. I mean, I use the worksheets all the time, but this was, we mostly do it in the core classes. So this one I hadn't seen, but I like this one.
And Liz, have you seen in any of the writing activities in core, there are some email activities?
Maybe we just haven't gotten to it because my students are all over. They're like, my students are in all levels. So it's kind of difficult to get to everything. So
I agree.
I want to, but
you will find those in.
Oh, you know what, Louie, be great. Like, I see these are in like the core lessons, like the beginner and for writing, but maybe if there was just a tab for all writing, that would be great. Cause I have to come up with everything, for my students at the different levels. But if it was all together, yeah, just like simple writing things that are on the CASA's test, because sometimes to get the skill across to them, like I use various resources besides Burlington, of course, but that is a component that I could really use, like, I just have my student, she's just, oh, this girl, she's, she, see, I don't even know. She was supposed to have graduated high school online, but it took me a while to figure out, her test score wasn't great, but she was like, oh, no. So we started at an 83 R CASAs. Now we're down to 81 R CASAs because she kept pretending like, oh, I can do it. I said, but you got so many wrong. No. And then later I find out, I'm like in January, I'm like, so you really don't know these things? Like you pretended you did? And anyway, the point is she was doing some writing this week, and she needs a lot of writing. So as she started the skill, then things started to click. She was like, she didn't use these words, but she's like, it never clicked like that for her before. So that's why I would like to have more writing, like a whole component. Oh my God, that would be like super great. Like you can find it really fast. And, we did the writing that was in Burlington, but, like at the end of each lesson on the student side, not the teacher side, I've been using the student side, and there's the writing so I could show her exactly what to do. And then she practiced some sentences, So that's why I'm interested, because I know my advanced students, they could really use that. So I'm gonna use that with them. Thank you.
Well, I just want to, if you're looking for specific lessons too, if you go into courses, any level, you've got the search button at the top in the in-class lessons up here. And you can search by lesson types, correlations, EL civics. So if I select lesson types and all my writing lessons, then I'll hit filter. So it's going to pull up.
Okay.
And it's always lesson 8. The final lesson in every module is a writing lesson. But here, you can get more specific. You can see what each one is dealing with and click on the eye. Okay.
Yeah, no, that's good. Like I didn't know that part, but that's great right there, because the search bar doesn't always work the way I want it to. But the thing is, like, because when you get to number 8, they had to do all of 1 through 7 to really get the concept.
Right.
I mean, like writing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8, right? Like writing, like all little tidbits of writing. Like, we have tons of books, but this one is just for them to use their own thinking. For the writing, like here's the skill. We start out this, blah, 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 and then write. But anyway.
So you're looking for more writing content.
Yeah, because it pulls the skill in more. And trust me, my students are like, I don't want to write. I'm like, you have to. They complain every single day. They don't want to write.
They did something like this with the grammar. So grammar was spread through the lessons.
Yes.
Now they have a component that is
Yes.
and yeah, I know you are saying something like that. So all the writings to be organized in those
yeah.
3 levels.
I mean, we have Venture's books, so it's always filling the answer, then there's a little writing, blah, blah, blah. But it's just not cohesive enough when it comes to the writing part, right? For my students, because they are not, most of them did not pass 6th grade, most of my students. So that's what makes it more of a challenge for me, is they just, in their own country, they didn't go past 6th grade, the majority, right? And it shows my students who actually graduated high school in their country, they pick up so much faster.
Absolutely.
Right? But most of my students, did not graduate from high school in
Yeah.
their country. So
Hey, Liz, I have a recommendation one more recommendation for you. So in the in-class lessons,
yeah,
there's a lot of these now you prompts,
yes,
and they're really meant for conversation, but
yes.
you could take that time to say, I want you to work on your writing.
Sure, I do that.
Okay, so there's
That's-
writing or speaking, I suppose, these now use.
Oh yeah, like we love it. Like I really, really love like Burlington. It's been a great resource for me, for my students. It's just Burlington has improved so much. Like I'll just say the last 6 years, you know, well, from what it was to what it is today, it's much more useful for me because before it was not useful for my students, my demographics, and how we, you know, acquire the language. But now it's much better and I can really use it, you know, and so anyway, the writing part is just something, that's all. It's just my students do not want to write.
Yeah.
They fight
Heck,
me.
my high school students didn't want to write.
Right. They're just always like, why, miss? Why?
Yeah.
Why, miss? I can't write today.
Like, you got that right. No student wants to write.
Yeah, my students, they're just like, I'm cooking. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And I was in the breakout room with Ursula, and we were talking about this. I can't stress this enough. You know, we spend an hour together in these conferences and things like that, and with one person from each school. If you guys, if you need me, I would love to come to any program and do a training with all your teachers as a group for this specifically, or anything you guys need. I bring donuts, I bring lunch, whatever you guys want. We'll make it a party, whatever you guys need. Please, you have my contact information in the chat. But anything you need to get your teachers better prepared, like Liz said, to be able to use it better, utilize it to the maximum ability. And you know, the whole goal, we want to get these students level gains. We want to get them English language acquisition. We want to get them employed, and we're going to change their life. So
I think
Brandi,
you better go back to building.
I would love to come back to
Yeah.
building, and
Yeah,
I'll
we'll
bring
plan
Bates
something.
hamburgers.
Yeah. Hey, then that's a done deal.
Brandi, you wanted to touch on anything else? We got like just a couple minutes left.
No, I think you did great. It was nice seeing everybody, and yeah.
Hamburgers.
Hope to see you
Well,
in the fall conference.
yes, for sure. And go ahead.
I was just gonna say, we in the last couple minutes, and we left a couple minutes just for questions. Does anyone have anything they want help with, or need us, you know, to cover, go over? Anything you guys need open-ended right now before we check out of here? No?
Get the experts in the room.
I know. I said we've got so many people here that have been using forever. So again, let me know if you guys want to set up a PD anytime. You just send me an email. Thanks, Brian.
It's lunchtime, right?
Lunchtime.
What's that?
That's right.
At
We're gonna start
lunchtime.
losing people because their blood sugar's dropping. So
Louie, you made me want a burger.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
You can never
Well,
go wrong with
Brandi-
Bates hamburgers.
Well, Brandi and Louie, thank you so much for your time. This was such a good interactive session that I think people got a lot from. So thank you.
Yep,
Really
thank you.
appreciate that. And we will definitely see you this fall in person at the conference. And all of these materials will be posted and sent out. So, you know, certainly if you have any follow-up questions, you can reach out to Louie and Brandi. But go grab a quick lunch, everyone, bathroom break, and then Patrick has a lunch session that will be giving lots of updates and good information. So hopefully we'll see you guys there. If not, we will see you for our last session that starts at 1 o'clock. So go have some lunch and hit the bathroom, and we'll see you guys soon.
Thanks for coming, everyone. Have a
Thank
great
you,
day.
thank you.
Have a good
Thank you,
weekend.
everyone.
Thank you.